All right. Just waiting to go live here. Trying to clear. All right. I'm switching views here. How's it going, everybody? Happy Thursday evening. Playing around with some new streaming software here called, well, new to me, but if you stream, you might already be familiar with OBS. So just getting set up on YouTube as well as Facebook Live. So I'm going to be comping some more properties this evening. Looking for some more deals, and let's see what we have to send out today. So I am live on Facebook. Am I live on YouTube here? This technology stuff is so complicated. I can't even find my channel on YouTube. Okay. Let's see here. It says that we are live. Are we or are we not? Yes, we are. Yeah. We are live. Okay. Let's go. All right, let me share my screen here. Actually, so if anybody's got any questions or whatever, I had some people DM me yesterday and today asking me about deals, comping, that sort of stuff. So feel free to comment, reach out to me. I'm looking in the Seattle area, but happy to answer questions from people in other markets as well. So let me see if I can get my screen shared here. So we got just a handful of deals here. There weren't a ton of people on our follow-up list for today. Got some new outreach going. Trying to constantly hit up new people on especially Facebook, joining the various real estate groups and messaging people in there, sending them friend requests, seeing if they have access to deals, and if so, getting them into our follow-up sequence. And it usually takes a bit of time of follow-up before we are getting deals from people. Usually, we're not getting a deal from somebody right away the first time we reach out to them and connect with them. But every once in a while we do, but it's pretty rare. Usually it takes a bunch of follow-up with somebody before we see a deal from them. So ideally move them from Facebook into Go High Level, which is what we're using for our follow-up campaigns, and then we see if we can connect on a deal once they come across something. So anyway, all that said, it was kind of a light day for follow-up today. Didn't have a ton of people that were scheduled for follow-up, but we had a few deals come in here that we'll take a look at and see if they might be worth sending out. We had a couple deals yesterday that looked decent, so we went ahead and sent them out today, got some interest on them, and we'll see if we can get those deals sold. Sending message out. Okay, so let's just jump right into it here. So my team and I are diligently looking for deals, and we're using Podio. We're using Go High Level or High Level for our outreach and follow-ups, and then we're using Podio to track our deals just because that's what we got started with a number of years ago, and migrating all of this data that we currently have into High Level is quite a task. And I'm kind of liking how Podio handles this stuff and allows us to track it, so we're going to stick with it. So anyway, we got this deal here in Milton, Washington. This is actually an agent on market deal, so not super stoked when agents send us on market stuff, but I always like to give them feedback on why a deal won't work for us, and then try to steer them into the off market kind of realm by telling them that, you know, hey, thanks for sending this over. I appreciate you thinking about us, but here's why this deal won't work. And we're seeing this a lot with on market deals right now. You know, they're typically priced too high for the condition they're in. And so we've been having much better luck with off-market deals. And if you come across anything off-market, like, I would love to take a look at that. So with that said, let's go ahead and check out what Pelago has to say about comps for this guy. So we'll head over to Pelago, or Lotside as it is called now. Oh yeah. All right. So you know when a listing starts off and it says value is in the land. Translation, this shit is overpriced. So this thing looks like it's in pretty rough shape. Yeah, okay, so this thing's gonna need a ton of work or be torn down altogether. So per heirs who have been advised, the property has the potential to be short platted to 3 or 4 residential lots. Investor builder could repair and rent the existing home for immediate ROI. Yes, immediate. Like, they're gonna immediately be able to rent this out. While working out plans for this shy acre double parcel. So it's actually 2 parcels, it looks like. Property has chain link fencing. Okay, so basically they're saying, like, the sellers want to sell this property based on the fact that you can build a couple or maybe 3 or 4 houses here, and the sellers want to realize that value, but they don't want to actually do the work to get the property subdivided on their own. So more than likely, so they're basically asking $500K. $500K, and we'll take a look at the comps that Pelago has here. And there's not actually many that are close by. So again, I'm just using Pelago for a quick and dirty estimation. But the thing that's cool about this is it's looking for comps that are relatively same lot size here. So just a little shy of an acre. And we can take a look and see what we got here. This one looks like it's been remodeled fairly recently. Now Pelago will tell you if it's been flipped, because it will see if it's been sold, bought and resold within an 18-month period. But this one could have just been the owners that were living there remodeled it themselves. But so this is a pretty good comp of what something could be sold for if it was remodeled. It's a little bit bigger. But adjusting for square footage, like, so the ARV on this guy here, if it was fully remodeled, could be more, probably in the mid 600s. Now Pelago's also pulling in these two as comps as well. This one's an active listing, so, and fairly decent shape too. A little bit dated, not newly remodeled, but everything looks really clean. But can't really use this as a comp since it's active. And then this one here sold for $575. Let's see what the, yeah, so this one is not as nice as that first one that we looked at there. So, you know, I think 650 is probably a good estimate for this. Now, given that this is priced at 500, is this a deal? We got 150K spread here, but you know, looking at the outside of this property, possibly going to need new siding, a new roof. I mean, the interior probably is going to need to be almost fully gutted. It's quite possible there's some water damage. If there's water damage, there could be mold there. Hard to say from that picture if the roof is going to need to be replaced or not. So, you know, in Seattle area, doing a full-on remodel where you're taking it down to the studs is going to be at least $100 a square foot. And this is a 1,200 square foot house. So for the sake of argument, we are going to put in a rehab budget of 125 there, and we'll bump up the after repair value to 650. So clearly not a deal if somebody's going to flip this property. Now, if somebody's going to develop it, you know, they're not going to want to pay cash for this thing and hold on to it for 18 months while they get permits. They're going to want to get builder's terms on it, meaning close on permits or close when the short plat is approved. And question is whether the sellers are going to be open to that or not. So this is going to be a very tough deal to wholesale. Obviously isn't going to work as a flip at this price. So to try to figure out where we need to be for a flip, what I like to do is budget in like a 15% profit margin here. So if we say 100K, that's about 19%. All right, so total ROI is about 15% down here. 80K profit. We need to be around 360, or the price to a cash buyer would need to be 360, which means we have to factor our wholesale fee into that as well. So, you know, if we want to, probably max allowable offer is going to be 340 on this thing. So we are just so far off on the price on this thing. We need to be at 340. They're at 500, and they just came on the market yesterday. So not even worth really sending an offer. I'll send the agent a message thanking him for sending this over and just letting him know, hey, like, this is another example of a property that's overpriced for the condition it's in on the MLS. So this one is going to be not a deal, so we'll pass on this. And then I'll make a note that I'll make a note. Probably would need to be around 340K. That way, if this property resurfaces at some point in the future, like sometimes properties will go off market and then they'll get locked up by a wholesaler and come back. We see that it's not uncommon for that to happen. I can go back in my notes and see, okay, here's where we had to be on this, and here's where, here's the price that we saw it at, and here's who had sent it to us originally. So having this history is super helpful. Okay, so let's go take a look at some more deals. All right, so this one is from a wholesaler that doesn't do JVs, but we like the visibility of seeing the deals in the system in case they turn up again at some point. So we're just going to mark that one as a pass. Another wholesaler that we don't JV with, so we'll mark that one as a pass. And okay, so we got one here in Everett, which is maybe 30 minutes or so north of Seattle. So let's check this one out. All right, so let's now actually just talked to the wholesaler about this one a little while ago. He gave me a call asking for some intel. Apparently the property's been red tagged and wanting to know if we got anybody in our buyers list that has experience dealing with the city on red tag issues and code compliance and stuff like that. So we have got an ask price of $385. Wholesaler says it's at $613, which is a very specific number. Pelago has this at 631, 500. So there's a decent spread here. Now I think it's got an unfinished basement. So the cool thing about Pelago again is that you can adjust the structure. So let's say we put another bed and bath down in the basement, so we make this a 5.2. We bump up the square footage to 2560 and save that. All right, we can see how that impacts the ARV here. So this is a flip that is about a third of a mile away. Sold in January for $625, and adjusting for the square footage, that's about another $75K. So that would put the ARV roughly at roughly at 700. Looks pretty good. They bought it for 405 though. What are we selling? What are we selling this one? Oh, this one's at 385. Okay, so they bought it for 405 and it's smaller. Oh, but thing I noticed too about Pelago is if they increase the square footage of this, they don't always capture that. Like if they finish the basement, so what I like to do is Redfin actually will show the finished square footage. Okay. So this is a bit misleading because they finished the basement. They're at 2,600 square feet, right? And Pelago thinks that they are at 1,900 square feet. So it's making this adjustment. So this is like something to watch out for. So they're making that adjustment and adding that in. So we can't add that additional 75K in because this house is already roughly the same size. So really the 625 is that's a fair number. So that's unfortunate. And this is not a good comp either. This is an expired. Can't use an expired listing as a comp because it didn't sell. So there's some gotchas here with using Pelago for sure. You can't just blindly go through and do it and pick the ARV out here. So let's see here. This one sold for 660. Let's just go verify the square footage on this one. $1932. So this one's legit. Wow, that's really interesting. This sold for more, even though this one is like done up really nicely. So, I mean, I think mid 600s is probably a fair guesstimate to use for ARV. Now, he says that it's going to potentially take 200K to get it there. I think that's definitely worst case scenario, so it just is going to depend on 200K, definitely not going to be a deal. But if somebody can get this done for 150, let's see. No, 150 will not be, it's going to be tight. Very tight, unless somebody's using all cash, no hard money. Probably worth sending out, though. It's close enough where we might have somebody. So we've been getting a lot of these deals where it's like, it's right on the cusp. Definitely not a slam dunk getting a buyer for this like we have with some of our other deals. But at the same time, it's definitely not a hell no like the last deal that we just looked at. So this is probably another one where it's like going to be good to give it a go, and let's just see if we can find somebody for it. So I'll talk to the wholesaler on this one and, you know, see what we might be able to do for getting this out there. So I'll mark that one as option requested, and we will see if we can send that out. Oh, did we get a couple more deals in the meantime since I've been on the live stream here? Oh no, this was from 2 hours ago. Oh, okay. So we got 2 more deals to look at here. All right, so he has this one at 765. It's in Seattle. One 11026. Why is that not coming up here? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, interesting. 1102. Oh, here it is. That's so weird. Didn't come up as the first one for some reason. It does not look like the same house though. Oh, this is 11206. No, yeah, for some reason Pelago does not always have the properties in there, so we're gonna have to resort to backup, which is looking at comps on Zillow. So this is 1,400 square feet. So what I like to do on Zillow is I will select the property type and look at pending and under contract. So I'll just see stuff for sale right now. And I'll set the square footage to this one's 1,000 square feet, pending at 750. Probably a Dadu. And this looks like a Dadu or a townhome. Also about 1,000 square feet at 700. And our target property is at 1,400. So well, this one's active though, this one's pending. So let's take a look at the stuff that's been sold in the last, let's just say 90 days, see if there's anything around here. Alright, so this one sold for $850. Dated, but clean. I got a finished basement here. Looks like it's in okay shape. This one, dated but clean, but you can see like, so what's he price this at? 765. So I mean, even if the ARV is at closer to 900, $765 divided by 900, we're at like 85% of ARV. That's not going to be enough to flip, because you got the transaction costs, you got the hard money costs. That's going to eat up a ton right there, and then you still got to do all the repairs and stuff on it. And based on this street view picture, it's probably going to need a bit of work to get it up to flip quality. So so yeah, this one is okay. He's got some more info about it here. Okay, so the other potential play with this one, and I don't know if in your guys' markets you have something similar, but Dadu's here, or accessory, they're detached accessory dwelling units. So basically you can put a cottage in the backyard of your place, and then you can condoize it, meaning like you can split the lot and sell the house and the Dadu separately. And so this is a really, really big thing within the city of Seattle. They've been doing this for a few years, and so there's a lot of people that are buying these deals with the zoning that allows for this. And if you got an alley in the backyard, you know, on the back side of the house, it's a bonus, because it makes it way easier to get access to the Dadu for building it and stuff like that. And so apparently this does have an alley in the backyard. So since that's the case, there's another website I like to go take a look at called ADU Universe. And this is by the city of Seattle, so it will kind of give you some hints on whether or not you can actually put a dadu on the property based on the characteristics of the lot. So this is pretty slick. Let's see. All right, so zoning is good for a dadu. Lot is big enough. Lot coverage, that's how much of the lot's being occupied by buildings. That's fine. Lot width is wide enough. Lot depth is fine. Interior lot. Now it says it says interior lot, meaning there's neighbors on both sides. So that's kind of a strike against it. But it's got an alley in the back. And it's got a detached garage. So that detached garage has potential to be turned into a dadu. Now, the one thing it's cautioning against is tree canopy. So it's estimating that the lot is 59% covered by trees, and City of Seattle has really strict tree protection codes. And so somebody would have to get an arborist out there to figure out if they can remove some of those trees in order to build the dadu. Sometimes the seller has done that. If the seller's already done that, it's awesome, because then a buyer doesn't have to hire an arborist to determine that, but that's not always the case. So probably this one is going to be a good one given the dadu potential. From a flip perspective, this deal does not make sense, but if somebody can get a dadu in the backyard, this deal could possibly work at the price that he's trying to get for it. So it'd probably be worth reaching out to Max here and finding out some more information about this deal, and see what sort of interest he's had on it. So I'll mark that as request an option, and I'll follow up with Max later on that. And then this deal here is from a company that doesn't JV, and that is gonna do it. So anybody has any questions about comping, Seattle market specifically, any questions on that, I'd be more than happy to answer, and hopefully you guys are sticking with it. You have to look at a lot of bad deals to find some good ones. I'm looking at 150 plus deals a month here, and we're sending out maybe 10% of those, if that. So for every 150 deals, we might send out 10 deals to our buyers lists. And out of those 10 deals, we have a fraction of those that sell. So you're going to have to get eyeballs on a lot of deals in order to be able to sell a small handful of them. So stick with it, get practice comping, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. So have an awesome good night, guys. Take care. See you.